Two of arguably the most powerful Star Wars characters in Star Wars Legends, and undisputably two of them in canon, have used canes to walk. During all of the films, we witness Grandmaster Yoda of the Jedi Order using a cane, and in Return of the Jedi, we also see the quite elderly looking Palpatine use one as well. This is interesting, however, because they are some of the quickest and strongest characters within the known galaxy. Both are capable of leaping around a battlefield and punching holes into metal. So why is it that these two powerhouses, when not fighting, appear to have difficulty even just walking? The answer to this question is highly intriguing. Both Yoda's and Palpatine's power comes from the Force. Although the case for their physical ailments are different, without using the Force, their bodies return to their normal state. A state just like a regular elderly being. This means while not using the dark side of the Force to bolster his physical output and essentially hold his ailing body together, Palpatine is an old man. The dark side of the Force is what gives Palpatine his power, and without it, he is simply a man who requires a cane. In a twisted way, it is actually the dark side itself that has made it so Palpatine requires the cane. While the dark side grants Palpatine immense power, it is a raging fire that burns just beneath the surface, and like all fires, it takes its due toll on Palpatine. In addition to horribly disfiguring his face, the darkness has also slowly deteriorated the rest of his body, making it harder to walk and even just move. The more one grows to use the dark side, the more they must rely on it, and just like a fire, it grants great power, but also destroys everything it touches. That includes its wielder. Just like Palpatine, Vader too can sustain himself periodically with the dark side, even temporarily healing or rather nullifying his injuries, which allows him to fight without his mask or even pieces of his armor. Just like his master though, the dark side cannot sustain him indefinitely. Thus he requires his suit and cybernetics yet again. The case for Palpatine is exactly the same, only to an extremely lesser extent, and replacing the cybernetic suit with his use of a cane. Yoda's reasoning for the use of a cane is actually quite different from Palpatine's. Yoda uses the cane due to his old age as well, but it is his natural age. Unlike Palpatine, Yoda uses the light side of the Force to bolster his physical output while fighting, just like Palpatine does with the dark side. Without it, he is elderly and decrepit. The major difference is that the light side of the Force does not deteriorate one's body, but actually rejuvenates it, which is one major reason why Yoda has been able to survive as long as he has. The downside is one cannot achieve power in the light side of the Force as quickly as they can in the dark side. Without the Force, both Yoda and Palpatine are essentially elderly and weak. Palpatine because of his overexposure to the dark side, and Yoda because of his natural age. Because of this, both characters require these canes. At one point in the novelization for Revenge of the Sith, for a brief moment, Palpatine attempts to run without the use of the Force, and is astounded he is even able to do so. This is just a tiny testament to how often both the ultimate avatars of the light and dark rely on the Force to sustain themselves. Without it, their bodies are weak and frail. The way they became like this, though, is different. One became this way naturally, and one became this way because of experiencing great power in the dark side over their life. So what are your thoughts on this explanation? And I'm curious, what do you think is more powerful overall, the light side of the Force or the dark side? If you would like to join me in the daily Star Wars discussion and debates, follow me on Twitter at StupendousWave. Link will be in the description. If you enjoyed this video and feel it deserves it, it would really help me out if you could leave a like. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel to keep up to date with everything Star Wars related, from news, explanations, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. If you have any video topics you would like to see addressed in a future video, do not hesitate to leave them in the comments below the video, or again, tweet them at me. As always, your viewership and support means the world. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.